Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is from Surat Mahalla Panjwa, composition of the fifth Nanak. And the recitation. Surat Mahalla Panjwa, Simarau Apuna Sanie, Dinasarain a-sabad-a-day. हाथ दे जिन राखे हर नाम महारस चाखे अपने गुर ऊपर कुर्बान भय कृपाल पूरन प्रभ दाते जी होए मेहरवान रहाओ नानक जन सरनाई जिन पूरन पैज रखाई सगले दुख मिटाई सुख पुंचो मेरे पाई नानक जन सरनाई जिन पूरन पैज रखाई सगले दुख मिटाई सुख पुंचो मेरे भाई. I remember my master, Simarau Apuna Sanie. Sanie means master. And day and night, I remain in constant contemplation. Dinasarain a-sabad-a-day, and it is the one which has protected me with its own hand. Haath de jin rakhe, supported me. And I have tasted the supreme nectar of divine wisdom. Har naam maharas chakhe, chakna, tasted. So you will notice that there is a common spiritual pulse running through both the previous Shabad and this one. Thematically, they are the same. The message essentially is one of anchoring the mind in constant remembrance, Simarau Apuna, and experiencing the protective, guiding presence of the self. So in both, the protection is not a promise of immunity, but an inner security that comes from maharas, tasting that deep experiential sweetness, which is discernment. And Guru Arjan is now pointing to the futility of relying on the ego's constant strategizing and control seeking. Instead, he's asking us to anchor the mind day and night in the presence that shapes all things. So really, this is not about avoiding life's challenges. Rather, it is a kind of inner fortification, a centeredness that is unshakable, born of discernment, that nectar, harinama maharas chakhe, that is the cherished fruit, manachindiya phalapaiye. These are all sensory metaphors to make the point that this is not simply an intellectual understanding. It's not abstract. It is felt, it is tasted, and it is lived. And in the Rahau, it signals the same message. Apne gur upar kurban. I'm beholden to that gur, to that knowledge principle, to that wisdom. Bhay kripal, because it is compassionate. Puran prabh, it belongs to that perfect prabh, the self, who is the giver. Ji hoye meherwan, who is gracious to the ji. The ji is the self, the individual, which is a reflection of the self, except that it's conditioned by ego. So that's the difference. They share a common space, but express differently, if you see the difference. The self with the capital S is not conditioned by the ego. The self with the small s, is conditioned by the ego, the intellect, the mind. You see, that's the difference. So we have to pivot from one to the other. They're essentially the same, but one is colored by the material world. In conclusion, Nanak Jan Saranai, Nanak the servant, the seeker, finds refuge in the one. Jin Puran Paj Rakhai, who preserves my dignity, removes my sorrows, Sagale Dukh Mitai. And then in concluding, the Guru says, enjoy the peace, my brothers, Sukha Puncho Mere Pai. So the refuge, obviously, is not a physical shelter, but a state of consciousness. When you're in that consciousness, day-to-day sorrows lose their sting. What we see here is Puran Paj Rakhai, which is essentially saying that the self always keeps its end of the covenant, the deal. Although the deal is not in the Christian sense of a covenant, but it is a sacred existential trust between the seeker and the self. The seeker surrenders, takes refuge. The self, in turn, unfailingly upholds the seeker's honor, safety, and ultimate well-being. So this is a profound, profound assurance. Once this relationship is entered into sincerely, the self is steadfast. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.